Hello and welcome to this Lilith and Cancer video. As you guys know, I am very passionate about the story of Lilith on my channel and about telling the story in its most highest regard. Basically eliminating the fear that we often have perceived about dark energies, and specifically when we're having the topic of Lilith. As you can see, many people are going to choose to mainly stay in the negative, and this is because Lilith itself, any dark energy, any shadowy energy is negative, right? So no one is wrong for doing that, but my passion here is to bring to you guys the full story, the whole story. And so as you can see on my channel, I've already spoken about Lilith and Cancer a couple of times, and I continue to do so because this transit is the transit that allows for us to recognize negativity, shadows, and how they serve us. Very much so, Lilith being in Cancer is in her home. Cancer being ruled by the moon, Lilith being an aspect of the dark side of the moon, at least one aspect of Lilith being that, right? Because there are other aspects of Lilith, like the asteroid and the dust cloud. But when we're talking about, your true Lilith or your average Lilith, those two Liliths, these are based off of the dark side of the moon, a point that we measure based off of the shadowy side of the moon. So Lilith being in Cancer is a powerful transit because in a lot of ways she is in her home energy here and is expressing to us the most original part of her pain, the most original part of her suffering, and the most incredible rise of her sexuality and her sovereignty. So I wanted to introduce you guys to the concept of the 3 levels. I got this from a very important astrologer who has her own blog, right? And I've mentioned her before, but the blog is called Astro Esoteric Pro. She's where I really learned the 3 tiers from, and I love these 3 tiers because it helps you to understand Lilith in her consciousness. Okay, so we have your most superior tier, which is actually at the lowest level of Lilith. The lowest level is her superior tier. And what is this level? This is the consciousness of sovereignty. This is where in Lilith and Cancer, you're gonna find this to be where we can express all of our negativity and almost like just shit it out anywhere that you want. Just like how a mother takes care of a baby's shit, you know what I'm saying? And changes the baby's diaper. And in a lot of ways, in this lower level, we can be like those infants. We can be like those people who are allowed to just let our negativity thrive. And it's such a misconception that you have to be a quote unquote good person to rise in life and in the material world, because you can see that so many people build their foundations off of negativity. So this is really an important thing to understand, the power of the word negative and the power of the word bad, because now we're really diving into the consciousness of Lilith, specifically in Cancer, and understanding that the body is the bad. The body is the bad. Why? Because the body is carrying the water. It is carrying the emotions. And that is truly what is the bad. In ancient Egypt, we say that the Ba is the body. So when we look at the word bad means the door to the body. And in Lilith and Cancer, we experience this in her most original form as the desire to shadow ourselves, the desire to go into our primal natures, the desire to attack, to respond, to react. And while a lot of the times we might think that this is our minds, the reactionary part of us is the body, it's the emotions. And Lilith and Cancer shows us how primal and raw our emotions are. When you become an expert at mastering your body, the true masturbation is master of the body, which is sexual or emotional regulation, right? Your own decisions on what that is for you. Now you're rising Lilith into her highest state. And what is a higher state, or her good state? Her good state is her God state. And what is a God state? The God state is the mind. Okay? So there is no real good and bad in the terms of what we understand it, especially when we're tackling Lilith and Cancer. We are understanding that it's body and mind territory all day, okay? And so this helps us understand those 3 tiers, going back to the 3 tiers, because the base tier, the superior tier, is the body. And the third tier, the highest tier, is consciousness. So we quite often think, oh, we just want to attack Lilith as being this negative energy, which she is, but there's no need to attack it, because if you attack the negativity, then you are attacking your own shadows and body. And then we quite often have this goal of trying to be the good person, and so we rise Lilith up into her consciousness state, right, in which she can transform the negativity, the shadows, into light. And that is the highest state of Lilith. So what is the highest state of Lilith? It's Lilith embodying masculine energy. Lilith in her highest conscious state is trying to change the world, and she cannot do that until she accepts the masculine. It is a story of being the outcast. Does one outcast the mind for the body, or the body for the mind? This is the story of Lilith. The original story of Lilith is recognizing that we are both good and bad. And when we look at Lilith in Cancer, we come back to this original story. The original story of Lilith being cast out for the better version of herself. As if Eve is something different than her, but just an aspect of herself that is accepted. And so both Lilith and Eve both share this dark feminine nature. It's that Eve is the type of the feminine that we accept, right? So in understanding this, when we come to Lilith and Cancer, I want you guys to see how much people will be in their own internal fights over good and bad. And to be aware of the fact that you are conditioned to agree with somebody's good and bad only shows that you are at the same level of consciousness with that person. That's all that it means. It doesn't mean that you are any better than anyone else or all of that. When you really play this game, you are recognizing your choices to either deflect from your body, deflect from your shadowness, deflect from your negativity, right? Or to integrate it into its whole. So I know that this is a venting video because but what I really want to get you guys to see is that these tiers of Lilith, superior, which is her chaos, all the way up to her highest consciousness, is the story of Lilith being outcasted from her place on the throne, her place in the world, her place in her consciousness. And when you're ready to rise to the mind and integrate Lilith, the body, into the mind, what this story is the story of Lilith accepting what has not accepted her. This is how you interpret Lilith. This is how you interpret Lilith. In her highest consciousness, whatever it is that has not accepted you, you accept it. Because if you react from a place of, I do not accept you because you do not accept me, then you are going to fall into the victim level of Lilith, which is the truest place of where we evoke fear. The middle level of Lilith is where we become the victim, because we take our sovereignty and just viciously fight back with the sense of, I am righteous because I'm going to be just like you. But if somebody has rejected you or hurt you and you come back with them with that same energy, you have brought yourself to their level. You have not righted anyone's wrong, and you have not integrated anything. So the power of Lilith and Cancer is to show the power of a mother's love, because a mother who loves her children, she will do anything for them. And they may reject her, and they may say, Mommy, no. They might even smack her, fight her, kick her, bite her. But Mommy knows that the child is little as a baby. It's an infant. And it does not have the power to understand everything. But mother has the power to understand everything. This is why her compassion is so mighty and so much more wholesome than that of fighting with a baby, fighting with a little child, and becoming like the child. So it's a beautiful discussion, because when we get into Lilith and Leo, We bring back our childlikeness, right? But we bring back our childlikeness and its innocence and its playfulness and creativity. But when we look at Lilith and Cancer, we look at the parts of us that feel intimidated by the child, the parts of us that act out in tantrums like a child as adults, instead of becoming that conscious state, that integrated state of divine masculine and feminine. And that is Lilith in her consciousness. So I want to invite you guys to these levels and tiers, because none of these levels or tiers are wrong. None of them are wrong. But to really understand the expression, the highest of expression of Lilith, this is what I wanted to bring to you guys. This is what I wanted to bring to the table on this discussion of what we're about to go through. Stay tuned for people to project all of their feminine issues and shit on you. Expect it. People are going to be dealing with toxic experiences that they had with their mothers, and learning how to transmute that energy into forgiveness. Because what people have to recognize is that they too are on the path to that kind of love, that kind of mothering love. So we're all healing our relationship with our mothers, and mothers are healing their relationships with themselves. Mothers are recognizing that they are mighty when they're compassionate. Mothers are recognizing that they are the truest form of femininity because they are everything. They are the child. They are the damsel in distress. They are the side chick. They are the wife. They are the hot girl. They are the old tired old lady. When you're a mother, you're everything. And then you are also just human. And so Lilith and Cancer is showing us the mighty power of the mother. Will you meet that power face to face, or will you just sit here and moan and groan and complain over and over again about your toxic ass mothers as if they had something great that they were supposed to do? It's so important for us to recognize how we have beat the mother herself down. There's literally a song that's going around saying that Earth is ghetto. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying why. Why is it that when it comes to the topic of the mothers, it's always to dethrone her. It's always to deface her. It's always to make her seem as if she was supposed to be something that she could never amount to. Lilith in Cancer is the godliness of a mother's compassion, because no one can withstand love. No one can fight against true love. No one. Not with any type of mind, analytics, logical thinking that you could ever muster. Science is the study of the mother, of the metaphysics. It is not science that created the mother. Science is the observer of all that is the original. So when Lilith comes into Cancer, we are recognizing the power of a mother's love. And now you must weigh where it is that you are on that spectrum, and where it is that you have chosen to not love like a mother could. And if you can't, then you are truly less than. You can decide to be a victim, or you can decide to be the change. You could decide to be the one that learned the mother's lesson. Have you learned your mother's lesson? That is what I want to bring to the table on this Lilith concept here, because we are now walking into a place where you can have everything you want, but are you going to own it? And are you going to be accountable? And are you going to be responsible for your reactions? We can get anywhere with the mind. We can tackle things. We can build buildings with the mind. But there is nothing that is stronger than love. There is nothing that will get you faster to the point that you're trying to get to than love. You can take years to create a blueprint and follow it to the T, and you'll get to where you want, because the mind is magnificent. But love is the fast lane. Love is the whole lane. Love is the God lane. So if you are going to embody this Lilith in Cancer, wherever it is in your chart, I want you to understand that this is not about forsaking what has brought you into this world, but uplifting what it has brought you into this world. Even if your mother was trash, what was the greatest thing she ever did? She brought you here into this world. That's the truest love, the love that creates. So take down everyone out here who's trying to dethrone the mother, because you don't even know. You would not even be here. You would not even be able to speak. You would not even be able to think if it wasn't for the mother. And for all of these people out here who are talking about, I just can't wait until I leave this earth plane, you have no gratitude. You have no fortune in your favor, because you cannot love what has brought you in here and what continues to sustain you on this earth, which is Mother Earth, the love of a mother. Please understand that this Lilith in Cancer transit is going to change the populace. So which side of change are you going to be on? This is your girl, Karina. Talk to you soon.